Hey everyone, and thank you for joining me today. So I wanted to make a video about the subject of underpainting. I get so many questions about this, and I figured it would be best to just make a video, explain it more in depth rather than typing it out all the time. This is something that you see a lot of artists doing with paint, myself included, particularly in the oil painting process. It's a technique in oil painting where you take an earthy tone like burnt umber or burnt sienna, raw umber, and you dilute it with paint thinner. In my case, I'm using Gamsol, which is a much cleaner, odorless mineral spirit. I basically use the paint thinner with my oils, and it's almost like the consistency of watercolor. So I create this monochromatic image, which is layer 1 of my painting, and it's a very, very thin layer of paint. It evaporates very fast, so it tends to be dry to the touch pretty quickly, and it's not going to muddy up your colors. So what is the purpose of doing this? If it's going to get covered up anyway, why even bother? Why not just sketch your outlines in pencil? Well, I like to think of this underpainting as like the skeleton of the painting, which is, the foundation that you build on. For me, it's basically a pre-sketch where I map out where everything will go. I can establish the tonal values right from the beginning of the painting, which allows me to start painting with light paint. Unlike with a blank white canvas, you're working with strictly highlight, and every color you paint with on that blank white canvas is going to be darker than the background. I like to have the option of the paint I'm putting down to be lighter than the background. So just for an example, I have to my left a surface that has been toned with burnt umber, and to my right I have a surface that is just blank. It's plain white. So I'm just demonstrating here how different the colors can look between the toned and the white canvas. Which do you personally prefer? Do you like to only work with shadows because the canvas is blank, or do you like to be able to also work with highlights because the background is a little bit darker? It's honestly up to you to figure out which way you like to paint. For some people, drawing a pencil sketch on a blank canvas is preferred. For others, it's an underpainting. Sometimes I wouldn't even map out the painting. I just tone the canvas and grit it possibly, and immediately go in with color. I tend to switch around my methods here and there, so I'll probably do that again in the future. You can also experiment with creating an underpainting that is complementary to the colors in your painting. So for example, if you have a lot of cool tones in your painting, like blues and greens like I tend to, then you might want to go with a warmer underpainting like a burnt sienna or raw umber, just something that's very warm toned, even red. Now, if you have a painting with a lot of warm tones like reds and yellows and oranges, all basically gravitates towards the warmer side, you can experiment with creating a cool painting with like blue or bluish gray, basically something that's the opposite of the majority of the colors in your painting. You can actually make those colors stand out a lot more. I personally tend to just go with the earthy toned underpaintings. Those are my preference, and because the majority of my work tends to be cool toned, I've also created reddish type of underpaintings before. Sometimes people also like to let their underpaintings shine through and just leave little bits of open spaces in their painting. I've done that before, but I try to get as much covered as I can with color. So that's basically why I use underpaintings. I just like the fact that I have a toned surface to work with, and to be able to establish some of the values takes that step out of the next layer, which is the colors, because that's already done for you. All you got to do is match to the right color. So I hope that explains underpaintings a little bit better. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!